Imagine for a moment something that has never happened. A table, 4 chairs, and at each one, a man who changed the destiny of humanity. At the first one sits Lao Tzu, the old man who wrote the truth in just 5,000 words and disappeared into the mountains. At the second, Siddhartha Gautama, the prince who abandoned everything to discover that peace was already within him. At the third, Jesus of Nazareth, the carpenter who spoke of love in a world that only understood force. And at the fourth, Bodhidharma, the monk who crossed seas to teach that truth does not fit into any book. 4 men, 4 paths, 4 traditions that the world has separated for centuries. But tell me, traveler, what if they were never apart? What if when sitting together we discovered that all 4 of them said exactly the same thing, only in different languages? What if wars, divisions, and hatred were born not from their words, but from those who interpreted them later? Never before has what you will hear today been stated this way. My name is Gopu. Many know me as the father of Feng Shui and a scholar of the ancient cultures of the East. But today, I am not here to talk about energy or sacred objects. Today, I come to do something I've dreamed about for years. Throughout my life, I have walked among traditions. I have read the texts of the Tao. I have meditated with Buddhist monks. I have visited the Zen temples of Japan. And I have also listened with reverence to the words of the Master of Nazareth. And the more I studied, the more clearly I saw something that kept me awake at night. They all said the same thing, with different words, with different images in different eras separated by centuries. But the message, the heart of the teaching, was one. Today I want to sit as a humble moderator at a table that the world has never allowed, not to debate who was right, but to demonstrate that they all were. At this table, you will hear each master speak with his or her own voice. You will discover what they really taught, not what others said they taught. And in the end, you will take away a truth so simple that it fits in a single breath, yet so powerful that it can free your heart from all spiritual confusion. Masters, the world has separated you into different religions. It has given you labels, temples, rituals, and different sacred books. But I want to start with the essentials. What was the heart of your message? If you had to put it in a few words, what did you really come to teach?
I never wanted to teach anything. I just observed. I looked at the water and learned that the soft overcomes the hard. I looked at the sky and understood that emptiness contains everything. My message was very simple. Stop fighting against the current of life and flow. The Tao is not a god or a religion. It is the invisible order that sustains every leaf, every river, and every beat of your heart. You do not need to worship it, you just need to stop resisting it.
The Tao is a natural flow, not as a doctrine.
Siddhartha, and you. I was a man who suffered and who wanted to understand why. That is all. I did not come down from any heaven. I was born a prince, but wealth did not bring me peace. I sought the answer in extreme asceticism and found it there too. I found it in the middle path, neither excess nor lack. My teaching fits into a sentence. Suffering is born of attachment. Let go, and you will be free. I did not ask to be worshipped. I asked that each person light their own lamp and walk.
Light your own lamp. Do not follow someone else's. Jesus of Nazareth, your words have traveled the entire world. What was your true message?
I spoke of only one thing: love. Love for yourself, love for your neighbor, and love even for those who hurt you. Because hatred chains you and only forgiveness sets you free. And I said something that many did not want to hear. That the kingdom of heaven is not in any stone temple, but right here, in your heart. Right now. I did not come to found any institution. I came to remind you that you carry an inner light that no one, absolutely no one, can extinguish.
Bodhidharma, you crossed the sea from India to China. What did you bring with you?
Nothing. That was precisely the message. An emperor asked me what the sacred essence of my teaching was. I replied, an immense emptiness and nothing sacred. He got angry. He didn't understand. The truth is not in the texts, nor in the rituals, nor in the words of any master. The truth is in the silence that appears when you stop looking outside for what already lives inside you.
The OTS, what you call flowing, I called letting go. Water does not suffer because it does not cling to the rock. Human suffering is born from clinging. We are saying the same thing with different images.
That's right. The river doesn't fight the mountain, it just flows around it. That is letting go and that is flowing. They are the same thing.
Bodhidharma, your emptiness and my inner kingdom, are they not the same place? A space inside the human being where something dwells that words cannot capture.
Exactly. You said that the kingdom is within, and I only add one thing. Stop searching for it in words, sit down, be quiet, and you will find it.
Traveler, do you hear what just happened? 4 men from 4 different eras speaking in 4 different languages, and the message is exactly the same. Do not look outside. The answer is within you. The Tao calls it flow. Buddha calls it awakening. Jesus calls it the inner realm, and Bodhidharma calls it silence. 4 different words for a single truth. Masters, now I must ask you an uncomfortable question. After each of you, men have set up institutions, written dogmas, created hierarchies, and even declared wars in your name. How is it possible that a message of peace became a cause of division?
I said, love your enemy, and in my name, crusades were organized. I said, judge not, and in my name, tribunals were raised. The problem was never the message. The problem was fear. When men are afraid, they need to control, and to control, they need rules, walls, and punishments. Iriya isikenis. My message was freedom, but freedom frightens those who need to be right. I wrote that the Tao that can be named is not the true Tao. That is to say, in the first line of my text, I already warned that words are not enough to contain the truth. But men took those same words and turned them into doctrine. They made a pond out of the river and enclosed what cannot be enclosed. The OS, you warned in your first line that words are not enough. And I said it differently. The spirit gives life, but the letter kills. And yet, men clung to the letter.
I warned the same thing. I said that my teachings were like a raft to cross the river, and that once you reach the other side, you leave the raft, you do not carry it on your shoulders for the rest of your life. But men did exactly that. They loaded the raft and forgot to walk. They turned the finger that pointed to the moon into an object of worship and stopped looking at the moon.
That is why I said that if you meet Buddha on the road, kill him. Not through violence, but because truth is not a person, nor a book, nor a statue. It is a direct experience. The day you stop worshiping the Master and begin to listen to the silence of your own heart, that day, you truly awaken.
Traveler, listen carefully to what they are saying. None of them asked to be worshipped. None of them asked for temples of gold. None of them asked for armies to defend their name. What they asked for was much simpler and at the same time much more difficult than looking within yourself. Now we come to the point that most divides the world, the word that has caused more wars than any other: God. Masters, do you speak of a God? Is there a higher power that so many defend and so many deny?
I never used the word God. I spoke of the Tao, and the Tao is not a person sitting on a throne. It is the silent intelligence that makes the seed know how to become a tree, that the heart knows how to beat without anyone giving it the order, that the seasons follow one another without an instruction manual. Is that a God? Call it what you will. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that there is a profound order that harmonizes everything, and that you are a part of it, Ed.
I preferred silence when faced with that question, not because it had no answer, but because the question itself is a trap. When you define that force, you limit it. When you name it, you enclose it. What I taught was to experience it directly. Sit in silence, breathe. And what remains when all thought stops, that is what some call God.
I used the word Father, but I did not speak of an old man in the clouds. I said that the Father and I are one, and that the same is true for every human being. The divine spark is not separate from you, it is in you. It is you. When I said ode, I did not ask you to pray to a distant being. I asked you to connect with that loving intelligence that beats within every heart.
Words are superfluous. The moon does not need you to call it moon to shine. The river does not need you to call it river to flow. That force that sustains the universe does not need your definition. What it needs is your silence, because only in silence can you feel it.
The Tao that can be named is not the true Tao. The four of us are saying that the name is the trap.
Traveler, do you understand what just happened at this table? No one denied that universal intelligence, but no one locked it in a name or in a temple or in a book. The SO called it Tao. Buddha called it ultimate reality. Jesus called it Father, and Bodhidharma called it silence. 4 fingers pointing to the same moon, and men for centuries have fought over the fingers without ever raising their eyes to the moon. Masters, if you could see the world today, what would hurt you more than what has been done with your words? That love is used as an excuse to judge, that is what hurts me the most. That they say in my name, you are wrong. You sin. You will burn. I dined with those whom society despised. I washed the feet of my disciples, and I defended a woman they wanted to stone. My message was clear. Do not judge. And yet judgment became the favorite sport of those who claim to follow me. That hurts me, not for myself, but for all the hearts that close themselves off, believing that God rejected them.
It hurts me that they turn detachment into indifference. I taught people to let go of suffering, not to stop feeling. Compassion is the center of everything. Feeling the pain of others as one's own and acting to alleviate it. But some took my words and sat in meditation while the world burned around them. Spirituality without compassion is an empty shell. Jesus, you have been used to judge, and me to justify indifference. We have been betrayed in different ways, but the root is the same. The human ego distorts everything it touches.
That's right. They turned your detachment into coldness and my love into guilt. But neither you taught indifference nor I taught punishment.
What hurt me is that they transformed simplicity into superstition. The Tao is observing nature and living in harmony with it. It needs no incense, no complicated rituals, no teachers who charge to reveal to you what you already know. It pains me that something so simple has become a commodity.
It pains me that my words were repeated like parrots without understanding a single one. I filled temples with monks who recited sutras by heart but whose hearts remained asleep. Enlightenment is not an exam that you pass by repeating correct answers. It is a lightning bolt that pierces you when you stop hiding behind words.
Traveler, at this moment you may feel a knot in your chest. Perhaps you recognize some of this in your own life. Perhaps you have judged believing it was love, or felt guilty where there should have been peace, or sought outside what was always inside. It's not your fault, that's how we were taught. But today at this table, the masters are telling you something different. They are giving you back the key that was always yours. Masters, let me now play devil's advocate because I know many listeners will be thinking things like these. Isn't it too simplistic to say that everyone is saying the same thing? Traditions are different. Rituals are different. Cultures are different. There's no disrespect in mixing them up like that.
Forms are different, and no one is saying otherwise. Rituals, practices, cultures, all of that is different. But the essence, the root, that's what we share. Confusing form with essence is like saying that Spanish and Japanese are the same language just because they both mean I love you.
And there's another important objection. What happens to someone who follows only one tradition with sincere faith? Is that wrong? Does he need to read the Tao Te Ching or sit in a Zen temple to be enlightened?
If someone prays every night with an open heart and that gives him peace, that's sacred, and he doesn't need anything else, every sincere path is valid. What's not valid is using your path as a barrier to disregard the path of another. The danger is not in following just one path. The danger lies in believing that yours is the only one. The river does not argue with the rain about who can best carry water to the sea.
And there is an even subtler trap, turning this understanding into a new ego. Saying, I know that all are the same, and looking down on those who do not see it is exactly the same arrogance that divided the world in the first place. True understanding does not judge. It embraces.
And I add one final warning. Knowing that all the masters said the same thing does not transform your life. What transforms is practicing a single one of their teachings with all your heart. A single act of true love is worth more than 1,000 speeches on spiritual unity. Masters, if you had to leave a single message for humanity, one that represents all four equally, what would it be? Wake up. Everything you seek, you already have. Stop suffering for what is not real. Love without conditions, without fear, and without boundaries. Because love is the only force that transforms everything. Be
Silent. In silence, you will find everything that words cannot give you.
Trust in life. Do not fight it. Just flow.
Flow, awaken, love, and be silent. 4 words and 1 truth. You do not need to choose between them or abandon one to embrace another. They are 4 doors that lead to the same room. 4 rivers that flow into the same sea. And if you stopped wondering which is the right religion and started wondering which is the right life, and if instead of arguing about names, temples, and books, you simply lived what all the masters taught. Flow with life, awaken to the inner truth, love unconditionally, and find in silence the peace that no one can take away. It is not necessary to abandon your faith or abandon your path. It is only necessary to open your eyes and see that your neighbor's path also leads to the same light. Traveler, the table has fallen silent, but the words that were said here continue to vibrate. Today you have heard something that the world needed to hear. that truth has no owner, that love has no flag, and that peace does not belong to any religion but to the human heart that dares to awaken. I am not asking you to abandon your faith. I am asking you to deepen it. Because when you truly listen to what your teacher taught, you will discover that he was never at war with others. We invented war. Flow as Lao Tzu taught, awaken as Buddha taught, love as Jesus taught, and be silent as Bodhidharma taught. And always remember that 4 rivers may have different names, but they all flow into the same infinite sea. If these words have touched something deep within you, please share them. Subscribe to continue walking together on this path where wisdom has no borders, because the light that is shared is not divided, it is multiplied. And the next time someone asks you what you believe in, remember what was said at this table. I believe in the same things that all the teachers believed. I believe in love, I believe in peace, and I believe in you.